You're listening to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List on 93 WIBC.
Welcome to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List. I'm Kyle Hawk. I'll be your host today. And here on this show, each week, we delve into the world of home improvement and lifestyle topics, getting you great information from reputable service providers and subject matter experts in their field. And last week, we got you ready for the fall season with some home improvement tips for autumn. And if you're ready to ramp up on your home projects this season, this episode is one that you really want to tune into. You can find our podcast and all of the past episodes of the show that we have to offer simply by pulling up iTunes on your home computer or the podcast app on your smartphone. Just search Chat with the Experts. You can hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on every single show that we put out. And you can also leave us a review and tell us what you like about the show. And of course, you can also find our podcast by going to angieslist.com. And whether you're looking for a contractor for an upcoming remodel you've got planned for fall, or even someone to clean your gutters, you can find what you need. Reviews on service providers in your area. It's all free, and it's all at angieslist.com. To get started, all you have to do is click Join Now. And again, no cost at all to get reviews on service providers in your area and some really great deals on local service as well. Check it out at angieslist.com. Well, now that the summer season is over and green grass and sunshine are giving way to changing leaves and shorter days, our time outdoors begins to decrease, but so does the outdoor time for many of our pets. So what should you know as the colder months approach when it comes to your dog's activity level and their overall health? And are there ways that you can protect them and prepare them for the coming season? Well, today we are going to talk with Deb Meno of Puppy Playground in Indianapolis. Deb actually joined us last year on the show to talk about pet boarding, and she's back with us today to share about how you can prepare your pet for fall and winter, and also share some really great grooming tips with us. Puppy Playground got started in 2004 and offers cage-free, interactive dog playtime and comfy, clean, and safe overnight care. And along with overnight boarding, they also offer light grooming services, including baths, nails, ears, teeth, de-shedding, and a whole lot more. Deb, welcome back to Chat with the Experts.
Thanks for having me on, Kyle. I really appreciate you having me here today.
Yeah, we're really glad to have you back. And as I was telling you earlier, the pet shows are some of my favorite ones to do. It's such a fun subject. I love animals, and I think, just like most homeowners who have pets, it's a very big part of their life, and so it's always a fun discussion. And as we get started, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about Puppy Playground. Of course, last time you were on the show, you shared with us about pet boarding, and now, over a decade with Puppy Playground, I know you've seen a lot of growth. What's been the most exciting part for you during these past 10 to 12 years?
Sure. I would have to say my favorite part are the relationships. Watching the relationship not only of the pet with its family, but then the relationship that we get to have with them as a client. And there's so many puppies who come to us on their very first day and they're 12-week-old little fluff balls. Yeah. And we get to watch them grow and mature and become, adult dogs. And it's just so fantastic to watch that process and to help shepherd the owners through all the trials and tribulations of, oh my gosh, potty training to now, they're chewing on my baseboards, and to really help be a partner with them to raise a well-behaved and good pup to have in the house with them. Yeah,
that's excellent. And of course, one of the things that's a big part of what you do is, training and caring for dogs.
Absolutely.
Making sure their activity levels are appropriate for the age and the dog itself. And, with summer winding down, I want to talk about some ways that we can help our dogs adjust to the colder months that are coming. Just now this week in Indianapolis, we're starting to feel fall a little bit. It's a little chilly in the mornings. Are there things that you should start thinking about this time of year when it comes to your dogs?
Yeah, now's a really great prep time before winter actually happens. So one of the things that you can do is putting your dog on a walk schedule. So if you always say go for a walk after dinner, that way as the winter weather approaches and it gets a little cooler outside, your dog's naturally acclimatizing to the change of weather. Yeah. Although this morning I walked up and I had a little shock as I walked outside with it being 15 degrees cooler than what I expected. But if you can kind of keep your dog on a little bit more of a schedule, it's not quite as an abrupt adjustment when we do have the chillier days. That being said, there's a number of other things that you can do as well, from keeping their coat brushed out just to make sure that is using its natural insulation to keep them warm. I had a great conversation with a client this morning that has a Vizsla puppy, and they love to be outside and hiking, and this little lady has no coat to protect herself.
Yeah.
So now's a great time to start teaching her about sweaters and jackets so that when she needs to put one on, it's not like, Dad, what the heck is this? It feels really weird. She's becoming a little bit more used to it.
Yeah.
Had another great conversation with a Bernese puppy's mom of teaching the dog to go outside and potty on command.
Okay.
So that when we have 1.5 feet of snow, she's not out there for 25 minutes trying to get the dog to potty. That Zuri kind of learns a little bit more of, hey, when I say let's go outside and do the business, we're ready to do it. So that way I'm not freezing myself as well.
Yeah. Well, these are all great ideas because in a couple months, maybe there's snow on the ground. Maybe it's really cold and not going to be an environment where anybody's going to want to spend an extended amount of time outside. And, we're not the only ones that kind of can get stir crazy during the winter months.
Sure.
I mean, I imagine for dogs, it's the same thing. And it sounds like some of these scheduling activities are ways to kind of help prepare for that as well.
Exactly. Making sure that the dog gets enough exercise is important in their mental balance. And when you have a dog that's bored, that's when you have a dog that can become destructive. So even when it does get colder outside, there's different ways that you can go through and still keep that activity level and still kind of keep them tired. One great way to do it is just through mental stimulation. So a lot of dog owners don't realize that you can burn as much energy with mental stimulation as you can with physical stimulation. So if it's too cold to go outside, instead of just feeding them dinner out of their bowl, maybe you guys do 10 minutes of obedience commands or some hide and seek games. There's also some really great puzzles or treat dispensing toys that instead of gulping down dinner in 10 seconds, it's now going to take Baxter 30 minutes of rolling this treat around, and it gets him a little bit of exercise so he's not just sitting on the couch.
Yeah, really great ideas. I wanted to ask your thoughts on what you should know about letting your dog outside during really cold conditions, because there's a lot of really great things we can do indoors like you just mentioned, but there are those times when the dog's going to have to go outside. Are there any things you should be thinking about in terms of their safety and just the overall care of the dog when they're going out into these conditions?
Sure thing. Rule of thumb is if it's too cold for you outside, it's probably too cold for them too. With the asterisk of, if you've got a Husky or a Malamute, some of those northern breeds like Akitas that have the big dense coat, like those are dogs that are meant to be working outside in winter.
Right.
Those aren't the Jack Russell Terriers that, might be up to their shoulders in snow. And one thing to remember too is dogs' body temperature is normally a little bit higher than humans.
Okay.
For humans, the 98.6, but for dogs, it's 101 to 102. So you take a little dog and you put them in, 6 degrees or -6 degrees, that body temperature can drop pretty fast, especially if they don't have a whole lot of fuzz to protect them. So if it's too cold for you, be mindful of how long you're having your pup stay outside. And especially also for puppies and senior dogs as well, they just can't quite cope with it as well.
It's interesting because we hear a lot during the summer about caring for your dog during extreme conditions. And we had a show earlier this year talking about how important it is to think about your dog when it's really hot out, about not leaving him in the car, not taking them on extended long walks on the pavement in really hot conditions. But it sounds like on the flip side, the cold conditions can be just as dangerous. And I don't feel like you hear about that as much.
You exactly are right. They are just as dangerous. And actually, Indiana went through and passed some ordinances here recently that went into effect, I believe, last September, that requires pet owners to make sure that the dog has access to shelter. Also, that the dog has to be brought inside if it's under 20 degrees outside from the cold perspective, or if it's above 90. The dog physically must be brought into a temperature-controlled building.
Yeah.
And it's great that our lawmakers are protecting our pets and trying to put some of these safeguards in place for their safety as well.
Yeah, no question. And just like in the summertime, you see a dog in that hot car being left alone. It's just it's an awful thing. And just as as people see those sorts of things, and we know that something needs to be done there. And so it's good to be thinking about that on both ends of the spectrum, whatever the season is, to be taking care of these animals and caring for them the way we would want to be cared. It's a very, very important part of the conversation. Right now, it's time for us to take a short break in the action, but don't dog us. We're going to be back in a few minutes with some grooming tips for your pup, especially those hard-to-wrangle dogs. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it right here. You're listening to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List.
At Angie's List, we believe finding quality service at a fair price should be easy. Providing access to 10 million verified reviews is just one way that we help our members find the quality service that they love. And to help them feel even more confident about their home services they buy, our Silver and Gold members can also qualify for Angie's Guarantees when purchasing certain e-commerce offers on angieslist.com. Learn more and get the complete details at angieslist.com today.